following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, guys? Where's Anthony? Where'd you go?
Hey.
We're live, baby.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? It's your boys.
You put me on the spot. Did you try to say something, man?
Coming live.
I'd be lost without you, brother. Look here. So
coming to you live from Zagnif Central, all the way in the heart of Oklahoma City. It is time for another episode of This Week in UGA Football. I am Mr. Fingaz, and that guy right there, he is the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place, in your face. Collin B from the DMV. How you doing today, man? How are you doing today?
Man, I am doing just fine. Had a great weekend with the family and with the boy, with my son, and had a pretty good Christmas. Although I did have to work. I had to work the past 3 days, but I had to work. I had to do something to pay for all the gifts. I had to kind of make up for all the money I spent. So, but we had a great time. Good food, good fellowship, good hanging with the family. How about yourself, my friend?
Oh man, had a great relaxing weekend. I was off Friday. I'm off today. I go back in tomorrow. The youngest came by. We did the gift exchange. We didn't do anything big food wise. All we did, I just made a taco. I made can't talk today. I browned some ground beef and threw some taco seasoning in and put it in the slow cooker in the Instant Pot. Kept it on the keep warm cycle. And what's going on, our guy? That's our guy right there. That's our guy right there.
There he is.
I believe that is our boy Randy Showers.
RGZ in the house. Constantly dropping knowledge, RGZ.
Yes, indeed. That's our guy right there. Appreciate you tuning in today. We didn't do nothing, man. We didn't do nothing. We watched a couple of Christmas movies, and then me and the missus tuned into The Best Man, the new Best Man. And that was pretty much it. That was all we did.
Well, I told we kind of stepped away from the traditional, like Christmas, the turkey and all that kind of stuff. We had some good fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and man, it was amazing. We had what else did we have? It was just a good Southern meal. It was good stuff. But it was a good step away, a good change for the normal like turkey and ham and that kind of stuff that you normally have for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, man. I feel you. What was I saying? Oh, I made a taco bar, like a taco buffet. I put all this stuff out on the kitchen island, put the Instant Pot right there so the kids could graze during the day and do their thing. So it was a good, laid back thing that we had going on. Hello. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, this is This Week in UGA Football, and we got at least 2 weeks of football left, y'all. We got at least 1 week of football left. One more game. Now, no, we're probably going to get 2, but this one is coming up this coming Saturday. You know what's going on. We don't have to explain it to you. The boys are going to the Peach Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. Peach Bowl College Football Playoff 2022 against the Buckeyes of Ohio State. And it's going to take all now. There is no There is no next week if you lose. It is winner take all, go hard or go home, all gas, no breaks against now number 4, Ohio State and the Buckeyes. So how you feeling about this matchup, my friend?
I feel pretty good. I think, honestly, I think this might be the healthiest team that Georgia's had in quite some time. I mean, maybe we have, we have we have Nolan out, but I mean, we have maybe a couple people banged up, but as far as everybody's pretty healthy, I mean, nothing that that is hindering anybody from playing, really. But I think it's gonna be a good game. Like we talked off camera, I was looking at the stats and they're pretty well balanced. I didn't realize they was balanced with what they are. I mean, you look at the points per game, they're scoring 44.5, we're 39.2. The points allowed, they allow 19 points, we allow 12. And the yards are pretty similar as well. So I mean, I'm looking for a good game. And I mean, and I voiced my concerns about our defense are not really a concern, but it'll be a test for us to kind of corral C.J. Stroud and kind of put a handle on Marvin Harrison Jr. and maybe stop the run. That will be pretty much telltale sign we're gonna fare well in that game.
Yeah. I'm still listen, y'all. I'm sorry. I am always in this chair when the intro starts playing, when the intro stops playing. And if you missed it, you got to go back and watch the intro when this show is over. The intro stopped playing. I got up to close the door, and then I ran out to tell the wife we were getting started, and I misjudged how long the time we had left. So I came back in, and I didn't hear the music playing. I was like, oh snap. Like that, I'm late.
You see Colin P from DMV going,
Colin just sitting there like, is he coming? Is he coming back?
Is he coming back? Am I running this solo?
Yeah, you're gonna be doing this solo dolo. So Peach Bowl, Georgia versus Ohio State. So here's what we're looking at. We're looking at, of course, a lot of people think that the Buckeyes got in a very controversial fashion. They did not play in their conference championship. Their biggest loss, they had a huge loss at home against the Wolverines of Michigan, number 2 team in the country that'll be taking on TCU. Also this coming Saturday, late in the late game. A lot of people with claims to some legitimate level of claims to being able to get into the CFP in 10-2 Alabama, 10-2 Tennessee. You also had a 1-loss conference champion in Clemson. So there were some other teams that actually had a little bit more of, even though they may have had more losses, a little bit more of a, from the standpoint of best team available option for that 4th slot. So a lot of people said Ohio State backdoored their way in, but that is what that is. And this is who we were playing. Yep, and Kate hit it right on the head. I know that's got to be Kate. I know it says Facebook user, but that's got to be Kate that says, just look how Michigan beat them. Michigan ran them out of their own stadium. So
they just didn't just beat them. They embarrassed them. I didn't see that coming. So
very, very. Embarrassed to the nth power. Embarrassed to the nth power. So that's what we're looking at here. You're talking about a team that in Georgia has. Everybody said the defense is going to fall off. Oh, they lost 15 guys to the draft. They're going to fall off. The defense is going to fall off. They're going to take a huge step back. The defense not only took a step back, I think the defense even became even more solid. They weren't as in your face from tape to tape, but they were dominant enough to keep teams from, even though there were some teams that there were some struggle, on the surface, some struggle issues. Let's look at Kent State. Let's look at the Missouri game. But they were able to keep the score from getting so far out of hand that the offense was able to find its stride and pull these games out. And we can't say enough about there's not enough about Stetson Bennett that can be said that hasn't already been said. And this kid's perseverance. We're seeing Milton is back now. A.D. Mitchell is now back. You had some injury report news, didn't you?
Yeah, actually, Kirby just came out. He didn't. Yeah, it's true Kirby fashion. Ladd McConkey. They asked him about Ladd McConkey, and they were really I can't remember his last name. The defensive lineman. But he said that he hopes that they can go. That's Kirby speak for. Yeah, they're good. So I mean, I think we'll have them for the game as well. Which is always good to have Ladd. Ladd. Provided Ladd has a game that he's capable of having. So I look for him to be a major part in this game.
Yeah, and once again, for those of you that are a little new to the game, is what's going on with that. Ladd McConkey had a little bit of I think he was running a fade route towards the sidelines, caught the pass, got landed on funny. When he's stretched out, he falls out, legs crossed, somebody falls on top of him, dings his knee up a little bit. He got up and hobbled off the sidelines. They took him in the tent. I don't think he played anymore in that game, in the championship game against LSU. So, but it does look like he's going to be making a comeback as well. Since that game, also not so surprising breaking news. Tight end Eric Gilbert has transferred away from the program. We wish him well. I don't know what was going on with him, but obviously there was something there. Knowing Kirby Smart the way that we know Kirby, he's not the kind of coach that's just going to put somebody out there if they've got off the field issues, academic issues, that kind of thing. Especially in the week of. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, and Kirby, you can tell. I mean, from what he said in his press conferences, you can tell there's no animosity or anything. It's a legitimate concern, or Georgia's been trying to help him any way they can, and he's actually been traveling to some of the games because he's he's beloved in the locker room, and he and everybody likes him and that kind of stuff, and he's an integral part of the team. He's just not on the field for whatever reason that may be, which we probably will never know, which is a good thing, I think. Nobody needs to have their business out on the street. So,
right, and that's one thing that I do admire about Coach Smart is that he's not the type of coach that will go out and say, "Hey, look, this fool was going to class," or he tried to rob the liquor store outside the liquor store right outside of campus. Or he just comes out and says, "Yeah, well, we try and work with him and." We couldn't really get him on the feet for whatever reason or another. We couldn't really make him work on the field. We tried working and coaching with him, and we wish him all the best. Right. And, God bless to him, and God bless to him and his new endeavors. That's one of the things that I definitely admire about Kirby Smart. He's just that guy. Yeah. As far as it's concerned with his players, I know that he has close to 100 guys that he has to look after, all by name and family members and all that stuff, but he genuinely seems to care about the players. Now, he might not give less than two craps about the players for all we know, but I mean, I think we know it's not quite like that, but
right.
He's got. But
that's podium speaking. Obviously, it's it's most of that stuff, which it should be, is dealt in house. In the locker room with the team, and the public has no business knowing anyway. So,
100%. So, we were playing the Buckeyes, and on paper, the Buckeyes are a very solid team. They had their biggest struggle, of course, against Michigan this year. But they're a very solid team, fundamentally sound, one of the best receiving cores in college football. We do know Njigba is out, and a lot of people, the questions asked, how much of a factor that's going to be. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I don't think that's going to be that big a factor because they really have not played with him. He has not played for much of the season. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr., that boy is a grown man. He's a grown man, plays ball, plays the same style of ball his father plays. He's ridiculously fast. He's ridiculously athletically gifted. He does play fundamentally sound wide receiver. This is the second time I've used that phrase, if that tells you anything. Fundamentally sound at the wide receiver position. So I'm guessing, my best guess is they're going to pair him up with the Kirby's going to put Keeley on him. And the biggest thing with Keeley is that Keeley has got to have his best technical game of the season. He cannot rely on his athletic ability in order to bail him out. He's got to be fundamentally sound from tape to tape because Marvin Harrison Jr. is a guy you cannot allow to get,
Behind
to
him.
get hot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you can't let it get behind
Can't have
him.
another LSU game. Hopefully within these 3 weeks, I think hopefully he's got that whatever was going on. If there was anything going on, got that remedied. So we definitely can't have a game like he had against LSU, because we could get the game could get out of hand real fast. So
Yeah, it can. Now the thing with LSU is, now I don't know if you noticed this, and one of the things that Georgia is notorious for this season, it's a style they seem to have adapted. If you remember last year, it was come out, beat you in the face, defense is going to beat you in the face, beat you in the face, beat you in the face. We were going to put as many points on the board as we could put on the board from the opening kickoff till about midway through the fourth quarter. Once the game was way well out of hand at that point.
right.
This year, it's the defense is still going to beat you in the face. The defense is still going to beat you in the face. But once the game is pretty much in hand and we pretty much figured they're gassed, they will let up. I don't really see a lot of change in coverages, because where the secondary is concerned, that full complement of the secondary was on the field in the fourth quarter when Nussmeier came out and started slinging around hot potatoes. He started slinging darts. But I think the biggest thing is they don't spend as much time getting after the quarterback. I don't know if you also noticed that at some point during the season, I'm not sure where it was, Georgia, the defense really took to getting after the quarterback. I mean, and hard. You saw a goodly amount of Tennessee. Coming into the Tennessee game, you and I talked about the fact that Tennessee was probably going to be our most formidable opponent, and the Dawgs made it look easy. And the difference between that and the Kent State game, and the difference between that and the Missouri game, is the defense got in Hendon Hooker's face.
Yeah,
and that is exactly one of the keys to the game. I'm gonna hand it to you and see what you think about that, man.
No, I can agree, man. And I've always said that the key to controlling the game or getting ahead in the game is put pressure on the quarterback, especially if you have an elite quarterback, like C.J. Stroud or like a Hendon Hooker like that. I mean, they're great at getting away from pressure and that kind of stuff. But and you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think we need to brush. We need to blitz a lot, at this game. And I think we will. I think Kirby's going to pull, bring the house, several times. And that defense is pretty good about getting to the backfield, with pressing for the blitz packages, that kind of stuff. They're pretty good about getting to the backfield. But definitely need to be careful about doing that, though, because that opens up the secondary. So, I mean, if he can, if CJ can, roll out and get some space, he can definitely find a Harrison or find the open receiver, and then, just a fine line between there. But I think we should rush a lot,
Yeah, well, here's reality. If C.J. Stroud has 5 to 7 seconds per play to dial something up and look at the coverages that he has, it's going to be a problem.
Oh, absolutely.
If he only has a couple of seconds from the ball being hiked to the time he's got somebody breathing down his neck to throw the ball, that's an entirely different animal, because now you forced them to change their game plan. They're receiving. It's pretty. They do run. I won't use the term complicated, but they are a little more complicated in terms of the offenses they run versus some of these other programs that are trying to build up. You know what I mean? Like, I can see a team like South Carolina doing a curl and out and a slant. You know what I mean? You got 3 receivers. One runs a go route, one runs a curl, one runs a slant, and you just hit whatever guy is open, kind of like easy setting on Matt. But Ohio State, Ryan Day has built a successful program. He's had time to build, and with his offensive coordinator, to build and tweak his offense to build that pro set style offense that can really shake up some things against some of these defenses, especially in the Big Ten. Especially in the Big Ten, where competition is known to be fierce. But is it possible for competition to be fierce and yet easy to get by at the same time?
I don't know. I mean, that's definitely a good question. I mean, competition be fierce. But I mean, your point. I mean, yeah, I think so. But I mean, what I'm worried about with Ohio State though is like it's a totally different type of offense. Between both teams. We don't
Right.
really throw the ball that we don't really go for the home run ball that often. We do now. We don't, but we're not
Yeah.
that kind of caliber of offense, and Ohio State is. So
All
if
day.
we're not ready, if we're not ready for that, if Keely's not on his toes, and if he's not like pad to pad with Harrison, he gets beat. It just they're going to go for that long ball. That's guaranteed. They're going to go for they love to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And we're completely opposite. We run the ball. I mean, we throw screens and that kind of stuff. We get chunks of yardage. They go for the 20, 30, 40 yards, strikes and touchdowns and that kind of stuff. So I mean, we got to be ready for that. I mean, I think that's going to be a big thing we need to watch out for.
One of the big things, I think C.J. Stroud, I believe, I ran across the stat today. C.J. Stroud is one of the most accurate and prolific passers in college football when he is given adequate time. I mean, and you can say that about any quarterback. Give a quarterback adequate enough time, but he is one of the most prolific and accurate given time, space, and availability to set and go through his progressions. And that is something you hit the nail on the head. So this is going to come down to I think it's really going to be a big duel on the defensive side for Georgia. It's going to be our front seven versus their O line, and our secondary versus C.J. Stroud in the receiving corps. Because Keely has had some struggles in the last few games. He struggled a little bit with the penalties, and he's gotten beat deep. He got beat deep a couple times against LSU, Nussmeier, and I don't know if that was he didn't just get his head around in time to catch the play or whatever it may be. But there's somebody that we haven't really talked about who could be an X factor here, and that's a kid the kid named Kamari Lassiter. A hometown boy from Savannah, Georgia, sophomore. The kid is one of the best. I think out of our secondary, he's probably the best at defending against the run as well. And went back and looked at some of his highlights today since I had a little time. His time from secondary to coming up on that line and shutting down a run play is insane, bro. It is
close the speed.
He's insane. I don't have any splits or anything like that for you on him or any of his stats like his 40 time or anything like that. But it is absolutely insane how well this kid defends gets a run. He's got
another guy to mention is Malachi. We got Malachi and Clarkson. We have the talent.
True freshman.
Yeah, we have the talent, so we just need to. I hate to say, I hate prevent, with a passion, but I mean, we may have to, use that a couple of times, during this game, and provided that Keely's on his game or off his game. What Keely we see probably will dictate if we, do the cover, the covers and maybe the prevents and stuff. But that's where we usually get burnt, and that's where we usually get burnt. What about that prevent?
100%. Yeah, this kid has had. I mean, he's not a world beater. But he's had 26 solo tackles, 8 assists, and he's defended 4 passes. He's got a half a sack, so he doesn't get in the backfield often for the sacks. But he's there. He's there.
Enough to cause a headache. That's great. Yeah, he's enough to cause a headache. That's good. That's what we need.
And let's go ahead and call it for what it is. Keely Ringo will probably be one of the first defensive backs taken off the board. Picked up in the NFL draft. He's going to be a first rounder, no doubt. Malachi Starks and Christopher Smith also has. Christopher Smith has just been a godsend for the defense, both last year, this year. I mean, he was the one that had that pick 6 in the Clemson game last year. He also had, I believe, a pick 6 in our first game this season. And several key crucial interceptions during the course of last year's championship run. Then you got Malachi Starks, who is now a star in his own right. So I think our secondary will be okay. But I mean, they're definitely going to be tested. I did think, no offense to Tennessee, I thought that Tennessee was going to be a good test, but I think our first real test is going to be against this offense here. I wanted to give a shout out to our guy Chris from the SEC Focus Group, where he says I think the Buckeyes made a fatal mistake last week by guaranteeing a win. So you don't challenge a team like that with bulletin board material.
Yeah.
And it's true. You got to be careful what you say and how you put it out there, because sometimes it will come back and bite you in the butt. I mean, Joe Namath. Oh, what's up, Nathan? That's our guy, Nathan Snell. Nathan Snell. Just to give a shout out to Nate and to Chris and Randy and Kate also. All 4 of our commenters so far are all running some sort of show. So first off, let's start in reverse order with Nathan Snell, who runs Big Nate Sports Talk. Bring your sports game with Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime. And then you have the lovely Michigan loving, Tom Brady loving, and for those of y'all that know her, that don't know her, you hear her talk about Tom Brady a lot. You think she's just a bandwagon fan that jumps from team to team. Kate is a Michigan resident who has followed Tom Brady since he was at the University of Michigan. So she has followed his career with a microscope, a fine-tooth comb, a GPS tracker, and a couple other things. Like, she could tell you stats about Tom Brady for days and days. But Kate is a member of 1/5 or 1/6, I believe it is. There's, I think, 5 or 6 permanent cast members on Let's Talk Football. The ladies take over the air on Thursdays. And then our guy Randy and our guy Chris, they are the driving force between the SEC Power Hour, and they don't just talk football. They talk football, they talk basketball, they talk baseball. I think they're going to probably throw a little softball in when the season rolls around. So shouts out to everybody all around. Nate, I know Nate's going to ask us some Maryland questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wait for Nate to ask his Maryland question. He loves to do that. He knows this is a UGA show, and he will come on and go, so what do you guys think Maryland's chances are in such and such this week? But
they got great uniforms.
Yeah, they do. They do. They're coming up on par with Oregon with all the uniform.
They are. Yeah. There's so many combinations you can. I mean, I don't know how many there are, but man.
Yeah, 100%. Well, this looks like an absolutely awesome place to take a brief pause for the cause. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Hang tight. What is that on the end of that video, that white? You just get an all-white screen. We are back. We are back. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This week in UGA football, 2022 Peach Bowl is coming Saturday. It's going to be a barn burner in a world where a team attempts to win back-to-back championships and another team has other plans. This week in Atlanta. 2022 Peach Bowl. We ain't serving peach pie and milkshakes. It's in the theater near you. Anyway, I'm sorry.
You better be careful. Give me a pillow.
Right?
Of course, for me to sleep right off the bat. But going back to what we were talking about before the break, I just want to interject. Do you notice that there's not a lot being said about Georgia, like on the ESPN, on sports shows? I mean, there's not really been talked about other than the other teams. I mean, I'm not, I'm used to that type of stuff. But I'm just trying to figure out, there's not really being a whole lot said,
Wow. I'm gonna get that in a second. Wow, Ryan Day really said that. Right? See, exactly. You got to be careful with that bulletin board material. That's the kind of stuff to get your butt whooped quickly.
Absolutely.
And in a hurry. Let's see, who is this? I don't know why I can't see y'all's names, but y'all are popping up. Those of you that are just popping in, thank you for stopping through. This is this week in SEC. This week in UGA football. Let's see, question time. What do you think of Todd McShay's comments about Jalen Carter having character issues in the locker room? We have heard nothing about it. And knowing Kirby Smart, like we know Kirby Smart, if there were character issues in the locker room, we wouldn't be seeing Jalen Carter on the field. Like Kirby does not play with it.
And the players have actually, I mean, several players have come to his defense and said that's just straight nonsense. Because I mean, he's kind of like, he has a personality, kind of like Big Baby. He's a big teddy bear. They said he's funny in the locker room. He doesn't. I mean, I don't know where the character issues, where he got that from. I mean, I haven't read anything about that. And the players even coming out to his defense. So
I don't know. I don't know, man. I haven't ever given any consideration to the fact that might be something there, like people deliberately throwing nuggets out there trying to affect the draft. And if that's the case, just stop it. Just stop it right now. Don't make me come up outside myself. Now, I almost came outside myself last week talking about a certain quarterback giving up the biggest comeback loss, victory, whatever you want to call it, in the history of NFL football. Don't make me come up outside myself with some foolishness trying to affect the draft. I don't know. I mean,
if that was the case, I mean, he would have not picked up old boy from LSU. He'd have slammed him. So I mean, if there was any kind of that kind of character issues, he would have slammed him and not held him up like that. So,
well, yeah, but you get where I'm coming from, man. Like these some of these sportscasters do hold a little bit of sway. I mean, they might have a little bit of skin in the game, as the saying goes, as far as their ability to affect particular things just because of their stature. Like, if Todd McShay says, I don't know, but let me hear me out. So, like a guy like Todd McShay, who's been pretty much one of the preeminent experts, so to speak, on the draft and giving his opinions on what he thinks and where these guys will be projected. And a lot of times he's kind of smart on it. I mean, he misses some too, but I think he hits more than he misses in terms of, if not where specifically they'll be picked as far as what round they'll go in. And a lot of people tend to look at him as like a subject matter expert. So to somebody that's a low-level guy that's working in the war room, that maybe the big guys in the war room are dependent on to collect the intelligence, and this guy's just going over and copying the cliff notes instead of doing his own homework. You know what I mean? If I'm a guy, especially if I'm a guy working in the war room on draft day, or it's on the team that's in the front office that's looking at these guys they're picking up, and I'm hearing a guy that I have known all my life to be a draft SME, subject matter expert, I might think that there's some weight behind that. Rather, whether or not I have done my own research to find out whether there is or not. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's hard for me to kind of buy into something without kind of any relevant or not relevance, but any kind of instances that have happened or any kind of things like that. I mean, that came out of left field. I mean, in my opinion, it came out of left field. I'm like, why? I mean, there's nothing. I mean, why did that come? Why did he say that? I mean, what does he have to gain from, affecting his drafts, his draft stock, But
yeah, I have no
idea. It could just be clickbait, and he's just putting it out there so people read his stuff. I mean, yeah,
because the draft is still what, 4.5 months away.
Yeah,
Because combines in March, the draft's in April, right?
I believe that's right. Yeah, I think that's right.
So the draft is still a good amount of time away, or maybe it's just something to set the, you know what I'm saying, to set that little in somebody's mind, and that way, if he has a bad game, then people will go back, because that kind of stuff does happen. Yeah, like if Jalen Carter goes out in this game and balls out, and then we go to the championship and he balls out, whatever that is, whoever put that out there, Todd or whoever from Todd's room of people that put that out there,
yeah,
that will go away. If Georgia has a bad beat in this game or the championship game, then somebody will circle back around and say, well, what happened to Jalen Carter? He wasn't very productive. Well, Todd McShay's camp said back in early December that there was some dissension amongst the ranks, and he was at the center of it. And now they start investigating. So whether there was truth to it or not,
right?
There's some weight behind that just because Todd said it. Just the fact that somebody's asking us, just the fact that somebody's asking us and we're on a UGA show talking about the Dawgs and somebody's asking us about it means that there's enough weight behind it for us to consider it, for them to consider that question. So what do you think it means for the folks that are going to have to ultimately be making the decisions that are going to affect their professional football franchise going down the road?
Yeah,
it might lend some credence to it.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, though, I mean, it could potentially or maybe be aimed at affecting Jalen's performance. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he could take it one or two ways, right? He could say like, "Oh my God, people think this way of me," or not really care, and go out and just go play his game, not even worry about it. It's kind of like slander for no reason, in my opinion. Like you're saying that kind of and loosely, not slander, but I'm saying loose. It's loosely. I mean, there's no evidence. There's no. I can see saying that and having something to back that up, but I mean, that's just it's social media. I mean,
I'm glad you said that twice because I was for real about to say, what does loose leaf paper have to do with anything? Shouts out to our guy Ben Cornett watching the feed right now. Also showing up his Facebook user, but he is the host of Have At It in the Ben Zone, and he is prone to pop on at any given point in time. So you're just going to have to visit the Ben Zone and sign up for the notifications. Also, is at Ben Cornett on YouTube. You want to check him out because he's got a good little product he's got going on. Broadcasting all the way from Sin City out there in Chinese food out there in Nevada and in Vegas. Appreciate you tuning in this evening, sir.
It's a dry heat. It's a dry heat out there, but it's still hot. It's still hot, but it's a dry heat.
Look, man, I don't care if it's dry heat, cold heat, wet heat, hot heat. It's still heat.
It's heat 102. 102 is 102.
Period.
Period. Stop. Point blank.
Tell me about this dry heat. I don't care. I have been hot. I have been hot and soaked to death in Korea, and I have been in the desert of Kuwait. And either way, the only difference between the two is one was wet, the other one was dry. They were both hot. Stop telling me it's dry. I know it's dry. If I didn't know the difference between wet and dry, I'd be going to work with wet drawers on every day, just taking them out the washing machine. Like, no, it's fine. It's a dry heat. They'll dry up.
You remember, oh man, what's the saying? It's like you ask a question, it's like, is water wet?
Right.
Go ahead.
It's flip-flops in them. Oh man, our crew is cutting up in here. But we do welcome each and every one of you that are watching us right now. If you are under the sound of our voices right now, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, do us a favor. If you're on Facebook, hit the share button, drop us a comment. If you're on YouTube, hit the share button and then hit copy link and take it and paste it wherever, your Twitter feed, your Snapchat feed, your OnlyFans feed. I don't care. There's sports fans on. There's sports fans on OnlyFans too. Your OnlyFans feed, wherever, and make sure that you hit the notification button or the subscribe button so that you will know every single time that we are on. Also, I want to take a minute before we move further into the show to give a big shout out to all of you that participated in our drawings, in our holiday drawings. We did send out a goodly amount of hats. I think all the hats that were ordered were sent out. We're trying to find out where Collin's hats went because I got his address. I think I got his address wrong when I sent him out, but we're going to find out where his went, and he'll be rocking his soon too.
I'll be finding out tomorrow. So I'm gonna go to the east door of my neighborhood. There ain't too many doors, but I'll go. I have a good idea where it might be. So I'll just say, hey, did you have my package?
Well, I'm telling you exactly where it went.
Yeah,
I told you exactly where it went. So you find it, you'll get it.
Oh yeah. Somebody's gonna get a surprise tomorrow. But go ahead.
Hey, look, man, don't get shot messing with your neighbors here.
Oh no. I'll be nice.
What would really be funny if you went to the house and knocked on the door and the dude answered the door when you had like, what's up?
Well, it'd be funny if he was wearing the stuff. If he was wearing it, that'd be hilarious.
That's what I was saying. It got it on his head, be like, "What's up?" Hey, I think my boy sent them to my house, and it was supposed to come. You know what? You can keep it. It's all right.
What's this Zagnif stuff? What was that?
Oh man, yes. So here, I think would be a good place for us to go ahead and drop our sponsor video, a little something quick from our sponsor, and then we're going to give you a little rundown of where you can find all of the shows in the Let's Talk Football family of podcasts. And we, ladies and gentlemen, will be right back. So do not despair. We are coming back. We just need to go ahead and pay some bills real quick. Y'all hang tight. There it is. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was cool. Did you hear that?
No, what? What was
Did
it?
you hear anything?
No, I didn't hear
Okay. I played a sound clip. I didn't know if it came through over the airways here. I found an online soundboard that I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with. I just played This Is Sparta. Okay. Man, no air horn. That stinks. I'm trying to find a good air horn.
Like at every concert you go to.
There it is. I hope that came through the band. I'm gonna go back and listen. If that came through at the 43-minute mark, somebody let me know if y'all heard that in the sound if you heard that on the live stream, please. That's all, folks. What in the world is going on? So maybe with all the Southwest Airlines issues, a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. will miss his flight again. I don't know. Come on, stop playing. You know good, man. You know good and well they flying a chartered flight. Don't even play, and they're gonna take into account getting on the plane, and they're gonna take into account when they get off.
They're already there. They're already there. They're already in Atlanta. They're already there.
They should be there. They should be there. Don't they normally get there early?
Yeah, they showed up today.
Okay.
I hope Georgia makes it. That's a long drive for them.
That's a long 40-minute drive from Athens to Atlanta, right? I don't even think it's that long. Athens is what, about 30 minutes out of Atlanta?
Yeah, that's something like that. 30, 45 minutes, maybe less than an hour, I think. I don't know.
Something along those lines. Well, excuse me. Well, we're getting sidetracked here. We're here talking Peach Bowl. So we did talk about what Ohio State would need to do. We think that they're going to bring everything that we got at the table. So talk to me about strengths, my friend. What are you looking at as our strongest link in the chain?
I would have to go with two people that are strongest link in the chain. That would be Big O and Brock Bowers. I would look for them to be used heavily, like we did against LSU. You know, sometimes on the field at the same time, maybe, you know, on either side of the line, you know, and just different packages and what have you. But, yeah, I think that Ohio State's going to have a hard time bringing those guys down. You know, if Stetson can get them the ball. like I said, I mean, our defense is going to be. I mean, I think our defense is going to be fine. As far as the strengths go, we just got to get back to the backfield. And I think, honestly, I think Stetson's going to ball out because I mean, now he can focus. I don't even know if he was focusing that heavily on the Heisman, but I mean, all that fanfare and everything, all the questions and whatever. But I mean, he had a great time. You can tell he had a great time, and now it's on the football. Right now, it's on the next thing, next big one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not even looking to the national championship, looking for this game and then the next game, getting to the next stage. But I think he's probably going to ball out too because I mean I think he's probably got a chip on the shoulder, being passed over, being fourth in the voting. You know what I mean? That just I mean,
what though? I don't even think. I think he was just happy to be there because I don't even.
I agree.
Prior to them making the announcement, he probably didn't even think he was in the running. He probably wasn't giving it any thought.
Well, I mean, look at all the negative attention and all the negative and naysayers, everything he's been dealing with for pretty much his whole collegiate career. So it says, well, this is just one more drop in the bucket. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I laid up pretty much all our strengths. I mean, like I said, and another big strength is we're healthy. So provided we can kind of sidestep the injuries this game, then we'll be all right.
100%. I want to throw in there, along with the strengths of the team, the running back room. Dejon Edwards kind of emerged as the front runner for the number one. They pretty much had a chokehold on that, but then you had Milton making a comeback.
Yeah.
You also had Branson showing us a little bit of what he's got now. I think I'm going to chalk him up to freshman inexperience. He's big, and I think he was used to being probably one of the biggest players on the field in high school, being able to truck some of these high school offensive linemen. But now he's out there playing with grown third and fourth and fifth year juniors and seniors that have packed on some meat and muscle themselves during their time in college. So he'll get there, like we joke about with Jameis Winston. We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry about it. Games this weekend. We'll get there.
So and you got back. We got four running backs. that have had playing time that are experienced. Three for sure, but Branson, he's getting there. But
yeah, 100%. You are 100% correct in that assessment right there, sir. Now here's where I'd like to talk about our weaknesses. We talked about it a little bit earlier today. If I had to pick a weak link, I would have to say maybe not as a unit, but just our penalties. We're still, for a team that is this far into a season that is contending for a national championship, you're at the point now where you got to cut those penalties out. Like, there is no more.
Yeah.
Man, coach, I'm sorry I did such a no. This is we are at win or go home. We have the win or go home stage of the season. In the playoffs, we lose, we don't get to play anymore until next September. So you got to really get your head in the game, and that was when I was coming back around to the freshman Malachi Stark. Like, that's a big thing. Like, is he going to be able to keep his head in the game? Or is he going to get caught up in the bright lights at the moment? So we shall see. The other thing that I see as a serious weakness is, I won't say a serious weakness, the secondary. And that's not a knock on the secondary. It's just I'm basing that off what I've seen this year against what I saw last year. If I had to say which unit was more penalized last year, it was more so the offensive line, and then they were able to recuperate from that just because they had their opposing teams pinned down in their own end zone,
right,
back against the end zone. So there's that, and especially the secondary. I mentioned Petey Ringo earlier. He's prone to get a pass interference call or three, and we really cannot. This is a game we can't afford to have that kind of those kind of mistakes happening regularly.
Yeah.
What's going on, OG? Appreciate you stopping by to tune into the show. one half of the founding cast of the entire of the original Let's Talk Football podcast, which has now grown into several shows a week. That's our guy Sean Spencer. He does it all. He's a writer. He's a producer. He creates jingles on the fly. He does all the extra work behind a lot of those things. And he's a guy that tapped us on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you guys think you want to do a podcast? So we appreciate you, brother, for tuning in." But I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I know you're not supposed to say it, just like you don't say that 3-word phrase. You don't say backstage at a play. You don't that 2-word phrase. You don't say, so you say break a leg instead. I get it. I get it. I just if you gun to my head and you had to say what area is not your strongest, I would have to say secondary. I would have to say secondary. But even then, they're still one of the best secondaries in the nation because our last game, up until the new quarterback came in, the secondary was holding it down. Now the front seven was in the backfield for most of the game anyway. But you get around with this. So
yeah, I mean, we talked about the second. We've been talking about it, not necessarily the secondary being suspect, but that has been kind of like if there was a weak link. I mean, that has been it for some time. Not to throw all of them under the bus or anything of being not good. I mean, they're great, but I mean they need to be really really paying attention this game because I mean they don't need to let anybody behind them, especially Harrison. And we've gotten bit by those kinds of plays. I mean, look at the Tennessee game a couple of years ago. Whenever he threw up Hail Mary and everybody was behind him and there was not a white jersey around that dude. So I mean, can't let them get behind you and just if you have to take a pass interference penalty, I mean I would rather take that penalty because it's 15 yards. It's not a spot foul. So I mean that's when you tackle somebody or grab their legs or trip them or whatever. But I would be okay with that, but don't. Yeah, you're right. We need to cut down on the penalties. I mean, I don't know how many offensive offsides we've had. I don't know how many false starts we've had. I don't think that we've done it. We don't had a lot of them.
As a whole, we're not a very heavily penalized team. But just based on what I've seen in the last couple of games, our most penalized unit tends to be the secondary, defensive secondary. Yeah. And I know it's a spot foul, and you and I talked about how Keely Ringo did that before because he got burned. But again, he did that because he got burned. He let the guy get behind him, and he basically had to tackle him to keep him from catching the ball. Unfortunately, it was like a 75-yard pass. It wasn't a spot foul, so they only moved from like the 20 to the 35, and then the defense shut him down and got him off the field. Yeah. But in a tight game, in a tight game against a team like Ohio State, who we know can run a score up on you, you can't afford to have it be 3rd and long, and you got them backed up against the wall, and you get ready to get them off the field, and then you give up a 15-yard penalty. Yeah, you give up 15 yards on a bad penalty, and now they're still in the game, especially if it's like what may potentially be a game-winning drive. You cannot afford to let that happen. So I'm going to knock a little wood on that one right there, put a little something on top of that.
Yeah, and I still think they're going to. I think they're going to. I mean, they're going to sling it. I think they're going to right off the bat they're going to throw the ball, and they're going to try to keep get our heels. And I think we're just going to we got to be prepared for that.
Right off the bat, they're going to throw the ball. That's I like that.
He's going to be slinging that tater.
Oh yeah, he's going to within. I seriously say first series. As a matter of fact, I would say first series. I would put money on it. First series, first play. He's taking a deep shot. He wants to see how. I would
say Harrison run down the sideline. I don't know if he's a left receiver or wide receiver, but right side. I don't know if he's on the left or right side, but he's probably going to have a go route, and it's going to be
Mr. Fingaz. Mr. Fingaz is testing the wind and calling the shot. I'm pointing out at the left field bleachers. First series, first play on offense. Ohio State. C.J. Stroud is going to send Marvin Harrison on a go route, and he's going to see he's going to test Keely's. He's going to test Keely's manhood. Yep. He's going to do
it. Guarantee.
Definitely sure. Then I said it for definitely sure. I know some of y'all didn't think that was a real word. Y'all thought I made that up. Some of y'all looked at the computer screen.
Definitely
like, what? now.
And then that's another thing. We've got to control the tempo of the game. I think if we control the tempo of the game, with the running, our running attack and that kind of stuff will be good. We got to control the clock.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Let me test something real quick.
What?
Okay. I couldn't tell if it had played the last time, man. I'm just sitting here like.
No, I did.
I was waiting for it to finish playing, so I was just sitting here like, I have no idea. That's why I said I have no idea what's going on right now. Those of y'all that are at home thinking, what is Handy okay? I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Don't even worry about it, sweetheart. Don't even worry about it. Matter of fact, you think I'm having problems? How about you do this? There you go. Anyway, we're back. So let's go ahead and put a ribbon on this whole thing. Send it on home. Collin and I are discussing whether or not we're actually going to jump on during the game at halftime. So we shall see. That remains to be seen. But let's put a bow on this thing once and for all. I'm going to go ahead and get my trusty notebook. And that is not an ink pen that writes. That's one of those write on your picture glitter pens. So that is basically useless to me for the purposes of what I'm trying to do here. All right, my handy dandy notebook.
No pun intended. You're handy dandy.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's see here. Go ahead and put this down, and we'll go ahead and take score. We'll take scores for both games. So, all right, Collin, what do you have, sir, as your score in the Peach game? In the Peach game. Oh my goodness. The
Peach Bowl. Peach Cobbler Bowl.
The views and opinions expressed by Mr. Fingaz are not necessarily those expressed by Let's Talk Football Family of Podcast, This Week in UGA Football, One Nathan Snell, Big Names Podcast, North Sports Dynasty, or any of their affiliates thereof. Anyway. All right, moving along. Peach Bowl score. Right. What you got, sir?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me just throw this out here. So we're picked by 6.5 and the over under 62. And we're in the dome. We're at the Mercedes. So I would say I'm gonna keep it even. 35-28. 35-28 Dawgs.
So you going with you be betting along with the line?
Yeah, 35. Well, I mean, yeah, 35-28. I think they're good. Yeah.
Okay. And then get out of the way.
Actually, hang on. Let me switch that. 35-21.
35-21, Georgia.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's change that.
Okay. What bowl game is? Oh, they're playing in the. What bowl are they playing? Is that the Rose Bowl?
That's the Fiesta Bowl.
TCU or Michigan?
Fiesta.
Oh, thank you, sir. Keep me straight. What you got for that one?
Let's see. Now this one's kind of Michigan by 7.5, 58.5 over under. I think it's gonna be a close game, to be honest with you. I will go 28-23. Michigan.
28-23 Michigan. Okay. All right. Well, I am going to go. I'm going to give Michigan a little bit more benefit of the doubt than that. Although TCU is very scrappy, I don't see Michigan letting them keep it that close. So I'm going to go ahead and make it more like. I'm going to make this more like a 45-23 game in the Fiesta Bowl. But right. Michigan wins. And in the Georgia game, I got it 41-21. And I've got the scores written down. So I got Collin. Collin has Georgia winning 35-21. I got him winning 41-21. Collin has Michigan winning the Fiesta Bowl by the score of 28-23. I've got it in a little bit more of a blowout, closer to 3-score lead at 45-23. That, ladies and gentlemen, are your CFP semifinal game. Score predictions from yours truly and Collin P. from the DMV right here on This Week in UGA Football. If you've been watching and we've held steady with the viewers that we've had. We appreciate you tuning in today. I can't tell you how excited I am that for the second year in a row, Georgia is contending for, right now in a position to contend for a second national championship.
Yeah.
In back-to-back years from last year. I know I don't show it because I'm not jumping out of my chair and yelling "Go Dogs," but on the inside, I am all over the place right now. So really, really excited about that. And that's what we got. So let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. That brings us to what is our final segment of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how it goes after all is said and done, and you're running out of timeouts. You just kind of got to hope that you get the ball back before the 2-minute warning. Now, to those of you that are unfamiliar with the 2-minute warning, this is a segment of the show where Collin and I just throw a little something out there. It could be funny. It could be sad. It could be inspirational. It could be something to do with community service. It could be something to do with the 7 love languages. I don't know. It could just be, hey, have a good weekend. It could be as simple as that. So, as always, Collin, I'm going to let you lead us into the fray, sir.
Absolutely. I know, a lot of y'all know I live in Northern Virginia right now, and it has been absolutely frigid up here. Like, I mean, it's been bone-chilling cold. And I'm probably out there where Anthony is right now in Oklahoma, but just want to be everybody be mindful that there are people that actually have to live outside in this cold weather, have to weather this kind of no pun intended, weather the cold and that kind of stuff. So if you have any kind of like clothes, if you're like me, I mean my closet's packed. I need to go through it and get rid of stuff that I never wear or whatever. Just if you have any kind of clothes, jackets, shoes, socks, whatever. Give it to people that, really need that kind of stuff in this kind of weather. Because, it is absolutely, it's dangerous, number one, and it's bone-chilling cold. And, there's a lot of people that can't, that have to endure such conditions, which is very unfortunate. But if you got anything you can get rid of, take it to your Red Cross or take it to there's little boxes near your grocery stores or gas stations, whatever. But, just be mindful of that. If you got anything to get rid of, give it to the less fortunate.
Well said. Well said. Or better yet, homeless shelters take that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You find yourself a nearby shelter, donate some things, and the folks will be really highly appreciative of it.
Yeah, bro, I can imagine these folks out there right now. I'm dying after like 5 minutes. Like walking from my house to the car, I'm like, when that wind blowing, like people have to live out in this stuff. I can imagine.
Right. I don't really have anything this week for the 2-minute warning, but the new year is coming up upon us, ladies and gentlemen. We've had the last 2 or 3 years have been very intense for many of us. It has been emotionally traumatic. For some people, it's been physically traumatic. They've been ill to the point of being deathly ill multiple times. Some folks have gone through some financial hardships because their jobs cut back because there's no money. They weren't bringing any money in due to the pandemic. Just take the time to. I'm actually going to pull this one in from the other show, from the roundtable. Take the time to find something to smile about today. There's something that happens in everybody's life on a daily basis, I think, that would give them a reason to smile. That would make them say, hey, I really appreciate that. Whether it's a funny joke you heard, whether it's you walking down the street and you see a little baby, if you love babies, or animals, if you are an animal lover. Anything that makes something during the day will make you smile. And you take that and you just file that away and you hang on to that. And for the rest of your day, if you're having a bad day, you have a reference point to go back to. This is what I like. I like to call it the Microsoft effect. Remember back in the day when you would set a restore point for your computer.
Oh yeah.
If it acted up, you could say, go back to the latest restore point.
Right.
That's basically what that is. It's like a restore point for you. You just take that and you fold that away. You tuck it in your heart, up in your brain, and at some point when you're having another bad day and you know you're not going to have a smileable moment, you have this one to look back on and reflect on it and smile and maybe potentially laugh. And dude, you have no idea how many people's faces have lit up when they had thought about the fact that, because a lot of people don't think that they really have any reason to be happy. They got a job they can't stand, the family's driving them crazy, and then you start hitting them and stuff, and they go,
"Yeah." Oh. And the piggyback on you, and the piggyback on you is like me personally. I know I do this. You know, I'm on the phone. I work for Verizon and whatever, and I'm on the phone constantly. And I work with these texts, and I actually have a personal, goal of mine. To make the other person on the other line laugh, or make them, laugh, or kind of have like a casual conversation. And you can always tell when you talk to somebody, you can just tell that something ain't right. Like they're just in a funk or whatever. I try to get them out of that funk with the 5 or 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. I talk to them. So that's a personal goal that I actually do. Try to do daily. Each phone call. But if they laugh, just even smirk or even just a little bit of, on my job, like I just get there. And they can't help but do it whenever I always picture them, people up in the north and the East Coast and New York and the Bronx and that kind of stuff, answering the phone and they hear this Southern slang on the other end. So, I mean, that in and of itself should make somebody smile. So,
yeah. I agree, man, and that's a good philosophy to have because a lot of people sometimes they don't necessarily. One thing I personally have found working in the corporate is that sometimes these folks don't have any intent whatsoever to yell at you. They're just having a day. Somebody has come at them sideways, and now they're having a day. And sometimes these folks are really good at deflecting, so they want to shake it off them.
Yeah,
and whatever they're trying to shake may get misdirected towards you. So
you're not supposed to know it trickles down. So trickles down. You know that. So you better.
That's why I keep a bucket with a rubber diaphragm in the middle. I can just go. Oh no, back to you, sir. Serena Williams, pop. That's yours. Thank you. Take that back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is doing for this week's edition of This Week in UGA Football. On at some point during halftime of the game, kind of give a little backup on what we saw, what we like, what we don't like, and what we hope to see in the second half. So
we may have a special guest. The B-man
we may have a special guest. Yeah, we may have a special guest. You did mention that. We may actually have an actual special guest if I can get somebody to jump on. But this will be, barring if we don't go on Saturday, this will be our last show of 2022. And we want to thank those of you fans, both new and old, that have continued to watch this show as we have progressed. So we're pushing towards the end of season 2, man. Can you believe it?
I can, man. I mean, it seems like yesterday we were so excited for the season to start. Us playing Oregon, we were worried about that game, and now it's at the it's at the end. It always goes too fast, man. Before we know it, it'll be back, though. Just take sauce on that.
Yeah, I love college football. It's my favorite time of the year. I'm not even gonna lie. It's my favorite time of the year because my favorite sport is back. I mean, it's not real far off till Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And so there you go.
I'm a fall guy, too. I love fall weather. I mean, the weather. I mean, the winter can kind of pound sand, but I love fall.
Well, you mean you don't like winter? Oh my gosh!
I hate winter. It's too damn cold, man. I mean, I love snow. The thing with snow, I wish it was snow, and then me and Brady can go play in it. And I wish it was gone the next day.
Right. I hate now that I can 100% look. You can get the air horn for that one because I 100% give that. So, having said all of that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we do thank you so much for tuning in to this week's edition of This Week in UGA Football. I am Mr. Fingaz. On behalf of my co-host Collin P from the DMV, we thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to join us the next time we're on, won't you? We're going to get out of here. So until the next time we see you, Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
All right, so Pete, we appreciate you tuning in and watching these videos. Me and Collin will be back every Monday, every Thursday, right on this very channel. Like what you see, hit the like button. Want to get the notifications, hit the subscribe button. Want your peoples to know, hit that share button and send it all across the internet. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. We'll be back next time. We'll see you then. Go Dogs.